Hello, today we're going to be talking about how to become a high-ticket sales closer. Did you realize that some of the highest paying sales jobs are for high-ticket sales closers? Have you ever wondered how to become one? Well, I've worked with over thousands of high-ticket sales closers over my career, and by the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to become a high-ticket sales closer and give you a hack that will help set you apart from all the rest. I've seen some high-ticket sales closers make well over hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And the amazing thing is the difference between those that are crushing it and those that aren't are just small little details and can be taught and implemented. That's exactly what I want to show you today as we dive into the meaning of a high-ticket sales closer, to what they sell and why, even down to the strategies and techniques that set them apart from the rest. If you're ready, let's go. So what is a high-ticket sales closer and why are they important? A high-ticket sales representative is somebody who does just that. They sell high-ticket programs or packages for your organization or your sales team. These are the big dogs. They're trained to be able to take people from this position and sell them something that's thousands of dollars up to tens of thousands of dollars. They understand the psychology of sales and they're able to move someone along a path to get them to eventually say, yes, I'm interested in this high ticket program. And think about it. A lot of times these individuals that they're selling high ticket programs to came into your organization by maybe spending just $10, $20, $50, or maybe they raise their hand. And to be able to take these individuals from that state of mind to somebody who eventually says yes on a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 program, that's really impressive. And these individuals, these high-ticket sales closers, are vital to your organization that are producing tons of revenue for your organization. As I mentioned, I've worked with thousands of high-ticket sales closers. And one individual in particular, I remember when he first got started, he was not good at all. He'd never done sales in his entire life. And there's some advantages, disadvantages to that. But this individual had never done sales. And he started out, he was not very good at all for probably the first year of his career. But one thing he had is he wanted to learn. He was willing to try the best practices that made other high-ticket sales individuals different than the rest. He put in the time, the energy, and effort. And eventually, from the first day he started till probably his third full year in high-ticket sales, he made over $400,000 in 1 year. And this is an individual who started with almost nothing and had no experience and didn't even have a formalized education past high school, but an individual who was able to learn, grow, study, and be one of the highest producers in our organization. Now let's talk about strategies that you as a high-ticket sales closers need to deploy. That's always an interesting question, but from my experience, the number one strategy that a high-ticket sales closer needs to deploy is that of being able to understand what's called question-based selling. And how does this differ from typical sales, right? A lot of times sales are broken up into two categories. There's services or there's products, right? And a lot of times high-ticket sales closers, they need to go into this asking a lot of questions, taking somebody down a path, getting them to formulate decisions and ideas on their own. Whereas if you're selling a product, right, and maybe even a service, you're selling that, you're talking about features and benefits. I remember early on in my sales career, I did door-to-door sales, knocking doors, selling pest control. And I remember doing that. A lot of times I would talk about the benefits of the product, the features and benefits that maybe separated this service from somebody else's service. Obviously, there's a lot of sales skills that go into that as well. But when you're talking about high-ticket sales, especially over the phone, we're talking about question-based selling. And the reason that this is an important form of important strategy when it comes to high-ticket sales is you're essentially getting the customer to do most of the talking. And that is key when offering high-ticket sales, right? And if you're looking at a good ratio, typically when you're talking to somebody and trying to get them to purchase a high-ticket program, they should do about 75% of the talking and the sales rep should do about 25% of the talking. That's a ratio that I found is always pretty good. And you do that by asking the right question. Now, when we talk about questions, we're not talking surface level questions like, hey, so how does this make you feel? Oh, good, right? No, helping them understand. So if this were to happen, if this were to come into your life, if you were to learn this because of that, how would that make you feel? But why would it make you feel that way? What would it do for you? How would it improve your life? How would it improve your situation? So if you ask surface level questions, you're going to get surface level answers. Whereas if you can ask questions that go below the surface, that pull out some emotion, some energy, some excitement, you're going to get people talking a lot more. And when people are talking, they're actually selling themselves. I love that quote that says, nobody wants to be sold, but everybody wants to buy. They just want to arrive to that decision on their own rather than somebody telling them they should do it. So how is a high-ticket sale sold? We've talked about the psychology of the sale. We've talked about question-based selling, but how is it sold specifically? In what I've seen with phone sales, it's a two-part sales process, right? The first part is the consultation, or sometimes called the probe, and the second part is the close. So if we're talking about that consultation, that two-part sales process, initially, that's usually done by a different person than the high-ticket sales closer, although they can do both. And usually they've grown up in that, they understand the psychology of the consultation, become really good at that, and elevate and move up to where they can start doing the closing part of the sale. But that consultation really is the foundation. It's helping people paint a realistic picture of where they're at, where they want to get to, and see if our program can help bridge the gap from point A to point B. It also helps them pull out some emotion, right? You ask them about their goals, their dreams, where they want to get to, and what this will do for them. And so there definitely is a lot of question-based selling that happens in the probe, in that consultation phase of the sale. But when people agree to certain things, that they're willing to make a decision, they're willing to move forward, and they understand where they're at, they understand this is where they want to get to, and they realize if they keep doing what they've been doing, that won't allow them to get there. And so if they agree to that something has to change, then they're set up very well for then that second part of the conversation is where the high ticket closer comes in, and he's able to detail out the whole structure of the program, how it's going to benefit them. And he reiterates to them where they're at, where they want to get to, and is able to pull out the emotion and the energy about them and their desire to change. And that's the challenging thing in high ticket sales is these individuals, they want to change, they need to change, but they're resistant to do it. But helping them take an introspective look inside themselves and say, you know what, I've been doing this the same way for 20 years, 30 years, and I haven't seen the needle move where I've wanted it to move. I've got to do something different. That's really the power in a high ticket sales closer. And I've touched on it a little bit, but I think it requires a deeper dive, is a lot of times high ticket sales are emotional based, right? These are people that emotionally, they want to make a decision. That's what's driving them to spend thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars on something that's going to benefit them. They realize that it'll help them improve a situation in their life, or it'll meet a need or demand that they can't otherwise get other than spending that type of money. Now, how do you take them on this emotional ride to help get them to that place? Once again, it's on asking these questions that delve underneath the surface, right? That really pulls them up and says, okay, I've got to take an honest look of where I'm at and where I want to get to, and I need help getting there. And they see your program as the vehicle to help them do that. And because it is emotional based, this is usually what I tell all the reps that I've trained, is you sell them emotionally, but help them justify it logically, right? Once they've said yes, okay, this is what's going to help me change, this is what's going to move me forward or help me realize my goals, you've got to help them logically justify it, right? Meaning that, okay, I know I've allocated this much money towards this program, but I'm getting an education, I'm learning by somebody who's done it before. I can ask questions anytime I want. I'm going down this path. This is a proven program. And so all of a sudden it helps them justify why they emotionally purchased it, and it helps reduce a lot of cancellations, right? And you even helping them down the road say, listen, you're going to wake up tomorrow morning and you're going to realize that, man, I just spent $10,000 on something. What am I doing? Or the wife or spouse might even say, what are you doing? And that's why we always like to have the spouse on the phone when we do that sales close. And normally most high ticket sales closers that are really good have both husband and wife on the call if they're married, right? But letting them know that they're going to wake up in the morning and they're going to have some doubt, some buyer's remorse, that helps them justify it logically, because you're painting a pitch for them or helping them realize things will happen in the future, that when they get there, it's already been talked to them about it. It's not weird or scary to them. Even letting them know that you're going to stumble a little bit, you're going to get scared down the road. You might even say, what did I do? This isn't working for me. But challenge them to continue to look inward and help them continue to commit to the goals they put in place in the first place. You know, as I mentioned, I've worked with thousands of high ticket sales reps. Just one other story. There was a gentleman that I worked with. Also, he came from never doing sales before, and he graduated from that consultative position, prober, to a closer, to a team leader on our sales floor, and he saw a lot of success. I saw this individual go from maybe averaging maybe $10,000, $15,000 a week in coaching revenue, and where he was making close to, call it $2,000, $3,000 a week. His best week ever in high ticket sales, he brought in $70,000 worth of revenue, which to him was about $14,000 in a week of revenue in coaching sales. It's amazing what they can do if you get a good sales rep who understands it. Now, obviously hard work plays into that, but these are some things that I've seen on how we've created high ticket sales closers. I'd be interested in what you've done, what you've seen, what's worked well from you. So please comment. Let's enter into a dialogue so I can give you feedback. You can give me feedback. And as always, I've got a completely free gift for you. It's aaronsalstraining.com. Click on the link below. It's 12 of our best modules on sales and persuasion. And it's something that we've used and trained all of our reps on, and it's a free gift for you. Just click on the link below. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Have an awesome day.